The question is that the motion be agreed to, and I call the honourable member for Wills.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. While the majority of matters relevant to this motion are state-based issues, I'm very pleased to speak on this motion because it's important that we correct the record when such wildly inaccurate criticisms and claims are made in this place. It is supremely hypocritical for this coalition government to be crowing about the importance of national security and law and order while simultaneously defunding, gutting our federal policing and national security programs. This motion by the member for Dunkley is nothing more than a politically motivated attack on the Victorian Labor government and a grubby scare tactic designed to unsettle Victorians. And he might be because of his rookie status, but probably he's been encouraged by his more experienced colleagues that sit next to him. This motion makes reference to Premier Daniel Andrews' election platform in which he stated, "More young people are turning to a life of crime. Crime has increased every year. Courts and prison systems are under huge pressure." And it's on this basis that the Andrews government took action to address this challenge upon their election in 2014. You should take note of this because these are the facts. In just over 2 years, the Victorian government under Labor has invested an additional $2.8 billion in policing and crime prevention. An additional 4,210 police personnel have been funded. This is in contrast to the 4 years of Liberal National government where 0 sworn police officers were funded. 0. Here's some more facts for you. The Andrews government has also invested in a dedicated 24-hour police assistance line for non-emergency calls and a reporting website so that Victorians can contact police when and where they need to. An automatic number plate recognition technology for 220 highway patrol vehicles to crack down on dangerous drivers. Modernising and expanding the Victoria Police Air Wing with 3 new helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft. Building a new training facility for Victoria's Police Special Operations Group, Bomb Squad and Critical Incident Response Team. $10 million worth of youth crime prevention grants. Now, the government has also expanded certain powers to allow the police to do their jobs and fight crime more effectively. The Andrews government has passed laws giving police the power to take DNA samples from the people suspected of committing an indictable offence without a court order, increased the number of DNA samples analysed by the police from 7,000 to 70,000 during their period of government. They have also passed new laws targeting drive-by shootings. The hypocrisy of the member for Dunkley putting up a motion like this, flying in the face of the facts that I've just articulated, focusing on a state government who are putting law and order at the forefront of their agenda. And by contrast, the Turnbull government talk a big game about law and order, but have quietly, or it's not really quiet anymore because we've exposed it, ripped funding from the Australian Federal Police and will wind up some of their most important programs. Last month at the Senate estimates, maybe the member for Dunkley might want to have a look at those transcripts, it was revealed that the Turnbull government has cut $100 million from the AFP's federal policing and national security programs over the forward estimates. $100 million from the AFP. That's your government. That's what you've done. According to the AFP Commissioner Andrew Colvin, this $100 million cut will need to be made up by the AFP pulling back on their programs to tackle organised crime, illicit drugs and fraud. That's as a result of your actions. These programs include the AFP-led National Anti-Gang Squad, which targets bikies and organised crime. Oh, we hear all about that from some of you, some of those opposite when we're in the chamber. And these efforts, this program has already been cut by $6.3 million this year alone. The government's $100 million cut will also result in the end of the AFP's targeting illicit gun crimes measure. Given the government's recent rhetoric on illegal firearms and the massive increase in firearm theft recently, this is quite extraordinary. It's actually breathtaking that you put this motion up. Federal Labor has proposed tough new measures to allow courts to lock the worst firearm traffickers up for life. But instead of joining us to crack down on illegal gun trafficking, what has this government done? They've just focused on cheap tricks and mandatory minimums, measures which the experts all agree don't work. Commissioner Colvin also confirmed last month that the AFP hasn't even been able to factor in expected pay rises for cops into its budget. And in fact, we have even heard reports that our brave men and women on the front line of federal policing are facing pay cuts of up to $35,000 because of the actions taken by this coalition government. Deputy Speaker, I'd suggest to all the members of this government, including and especially the member for Dunkley, might be a rookie area by putting this motion up, I hope it is, but I'd suggest that instead of focusing on the Andrews government, which is actually doing things, which is actually making a commitment to law and order, and working hard to tackle crime and deliver a safer community for Victorians, I suggest that the member for Dunkley and the Turnbull government should support the AFP and focus on the many things it could be doing to tackle crime at a federal level.